Hello and welcome to the kitchen table this Wednesday. This Wednesday is a very special Wednesday for our brothers and sisters over the pond in America, and indeed for all of us, I think, because it brings about a change in the leadership in America. The last 4 years, I suppose, depending on your flavour and how you see things, have been certainly extraordinary in terms of the presidential way of running a country. And today we see a change. President Biden will be sworn in, and I think things will change in America. The pandemic over there has been devastating, and last night candles were lit and prayers were said as the number reached 400,000 COVID deaths. A staggering number of people to die in one nation. That moment of prayer and reflection was a powerful moment. It was a moment for our country to stand and to think about how COVID has changed the lives of so many. The reality is, for 400,000 lost to COVID, the number of people affected by that is of course so much greater. All those families, all those friends, all those places of work now empty of people who had filled them with life. This moment is a real moment in history on all sorts of different levels. I think President Trump is not going to be there. There's not going to be a handing over in the same way as we have known for generations. And we also have a woman, a black woman, the first time ever as vice president. The world is changing. And I just praise God that things are changing. It's not the end of all the problems of our world, we know that, but it might be the beginning of something new. It'll be interesting to see later this afternoon, in our time, what Biden's speech will be about, but I suspect it will be all about growing back a community, a relationship in a nation. Finding a way to help and support those who are struggling the most. I believe that his heart is one that is faith-filled and driven by that need to serve those who are the least, the last and the lost of our community. Here too, the numbers of COVID deaths have been staggering, and the peak of this second wave has brought such pain and suffering. We can pray that the peak will be just that and things will start to decrease, but losses will still be high for weeks to come. My prayer is that we will build back differently when we move out of a COVID time. My prayer is that we'll have the courage to be creative in how we build our societies. My prayer is that church will have the courage to come into this new time in our history across the world with vision, with a willingness to change, holding fast to the truth of the gospel message, but delivering it differently, connecting differently, finding humility, finding grace, learning from other people, and building together a new Jerusalem, if you like. That's an amazing thought and an amazing opportunity. And I think it feels, or it certainly for me has felt a bit like we have been walking through the valley of the shadow of death. I speak those words often, and especially at funerals. And each time I speak them, I am reminded of the power of the fact that we walk through the valley of the shadow of death into the light of eternity. And I think we will walk through the valley of the shadow of death that is COVID-19 in our world. And my prayer is that as we walk through that, we come out into something that is about the glory of our world, about the hope in our world, and about love for one another. That's going to take commitment. It's going to take world leaders that aren't all about ego, but are about care. And it's going to take you and I having the courage in our local communities to speak up and say, let's do things differently now. And not be afraid. Jesus tells us again and again and again in the Bible, do not be afraid. And I think that's my message today. As Washington is poised for that moment of the transfer of power, it's a place that is poised with soldiers and guns and fear. And instead of thousands of people, they have thousands of flags in the area where people would normally be standing. There is fear. Fear of what might happen in this changeover of power. Fear that people might want to cause chaos at this time. There's fear here in this country about all sorts of things. Brexit, the changes to jobs and work. So many things are fear-making, not least COVID itself. But I really pray that we have the courage to look beyond the fear of today and into the future. However beautiful that might be, however difficult that might be, whatever God has planned for us, let's look towards it and keep stepping forward. So even though we're still locked down, we are not locked in our hearts or in our minds. We can use this time to envision a different way of being. Whether that's in our families, our churches, our community and our world. It all starts with a creative thought and a heart's will. So God bless and take care, and join me again on Sunday at the kitchen table. Bye for now.